Hello, CherieHanson here. I have been thinking about my thinking. You know the Quaker Oats label that has a picture of a Quaker Oats label, which has a picture of a Quaker Oats label. It goes on to infinity. But the two aspects of my thinking, thought habits, that give me the most trouble and lead me down the primrose and reptile path are jealousy and judgment. So often I have to clean up in aisle 6 in my brain, because I will see that somebody else has gotten something that I fantasize about. I'm not doing it. I'm not working toward it. I'm not putting my back into it. But they did that. And so this is where the wounding, where the ego, where the tiny child mind comes in. You know, how come they got the apple pie with ice cream on top and I didn't? Well, I didn't order it. I didn't pay for it. I wouldn't even eat it if I got it. So the thing that I saw as I was looking at the judgment and the jealousy is both of those things are actually working toward the same goal. Can you guess what it is? The goal is to stop compassion, to stop ourselves from believing the world is one, to stop believing that the universe loves and takes care of us. And it puts people in one of those little bubble glass cases. This person is, I will say, this person is so tall, this color, hold up a paint chip, that color, they have this, they have that. And one of the things that my ego mind will try to do is it will try to capture the person, put it in the glass jar, screw the lid down, and put a label on them. Now, why do I do that? I do that because the ego is trying to protect me. If I know who this person is, if I know what I can expect from this person, if I am fully aware and alert and armed and ready, then they can't hurt me. And this is leftover childhood trauma. That's all it is. It's standing in my way. It is slowing down my growth. It is bringing me to a place where I have quiet, peaceful understanding that I can never see another person from outside of them. I can never understand the totality of another person, of what they're going through, of what they're made up of what they're capable of. And so I make them into a thing. When we judge another person, what we do is we actually remove their humanity. And I saw that in 2015 when I was on the street with all of the machine gunning deaths of people in minutes. How can you do that to another person? You can do it by starting out with labeling them. This person is good. This person is bad. This person is dangerous. This person will, help me. And so we're constantly prejudging. And the word prejudice comes from that. We're prejudging who another person is. And they walk toward us. It's kind of like the Black Mirror segment. They walk toward us with all of their points in place, the 100 points. And as they walk toward us, what we do is we start removing their points. Like, that person didn't hold the door open for somebody else. I take away these points. So that person is wearing clothing that isn't like the clothing I wear. So I take away some of their points. So that person's not smiling at me. So I take away more points. And that process of removing their value dehumanizes them. Their value is that they are alive and they are human. And so when I judge what I'm doing the same thing that can end up causing a person being able to carry out monstrous acts against others because they don't see them as human. And on a more subtle level, on a more quiet level, when we're judging all the time, we're doing the same thing. We're taking them from being real and complex and walking around with woundings and scars and a past history and victories we can't even know about. And we're screwing the lid down on a jar and saying this is a thing, not a person. The other part of this is the jealousy. When we're jealous of another person, when I am jealous of another person, I can feel my gorge rise. I've tried so hard to get out of this. It's not as loud, it's not as vicious, it's not as unnoticed as it has been in the past. I can see when it's happening. And I have to sit down and have a talk with myself. What I used to say to my students in classrooms, and they've heard this so often, success is not a slice of cheese. There's this round cheese, and only a certain number of people are going to get pieces of it. Or there's a pizza, and only a certain number of people will get a piece of pizza. If they got a prize, that means I won't get a piece of pizza. I will be left out. I will be emotionally abandoned. I will be unsuccessful. Oh, God help us for that happening. In our culture, you could get arrested for that. You could have, the policia show up and take you and throw you into a Black Maria because you fail to be successful. And the problem is, we cannot know what they went through to get there and what the universe is teaching them. So they may get a prize for something. They may have a brand new car. Underneath it all, though, we are all just barely coping. Being alive on the face of the earth is hard. It's difficult. It's challenging. You will always have poltergeists and haints and black spirits and accidents and all these things come to all of us. Now, if we turned it around and we said, I'm jealous because they got more lessons than I did. Think of that. Right now, they're coping with flooding in the basement, and there's a fire outside their house, and they don't have money for their income tax. Look at that. They're getting more lessons than I am. I'm jealous. And this is what always helps me when I'm dealing with my mind, is if I step back far enough, I can see how absurd my thought process is, especially when the ego is present. We are all human. We are all doing the best we can based on our capacity, our knowledge, our teachers, our role models, and the cohort we hang around with. And if we can get to a place where we just watch our own thoughts, we're going to be so damned busy we don't have time to be throwing rocks at other people. Going inside and watching your own thoughts and correcting your own thoughts and seeing why they're arising and how they come from scarring or from trauma or from the family system is totally engaging. And then we won't have time to speculate about how evil or nasty or bad or arrogant or anybody else is, because our entire view will be filled up by our own need to be observed. So I wanted to share that with you today. It was pretty strong the last couple of days watching that and seeing how judgment and jealousy are both ego-driven thoughts that dehumanize other people and make it harder to love them. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would ask you to share if you know someone that's going through something who isn't, and you see a video you think may help them. Ask them if you can send it over and they can sit and think about it for a bit. I am doing coaching, lots of coaching. Get a hold of me. We can have a one-on-one session at a distance. I read cards. I have a channel. I have the vision. I have the voice. And I can work with you to find out, what do you really want to become in this lifetime? And how can we get there? I say to you, as I say every time, everyone that is watching, commenting such a positive way, and subscribing, I appreciate you.